fans and lovers and all the others. Welcome to another episode of Pod from the Bunker. My name is Kev from the Bunker here on Twitch, and all my socials are popping up below me. If you'd like to check me out on Twitch, it's Kev from the Bunker. On Instagram and everything else, it's Kev D Foster. If you're watching this on YouTube, I record it live on Twitch, and we have a chat going, and you can come and be here with us as we do it. But if you're watching on YouTube, please like and subscribe. It really helps the channel, and it really helps me to promote other musicians. My YouTube channel is under Kevin D Foster. However, I wish it was under Bunker Productions because I have a lot of people perform here, a lot of podcasts, and a lot of content with other musicians because that really fires my soul up. So please hit that subscribe button, like, comment any questions you might have for today's guests, especially Miss Jeanette Music. So if you're on Twitch, welcome in and thank you for being here live. Jeanette is a musician streamer, and we have recently become a little bit more connected than we have been in the past. There's a lot of people to follow on Twitch, so some people you don't have this strong a relationship with, and then something happens, and now Jeanette and I have connected on a whole new level. So I'm really excited to have her today. She's a tremendous songwriter and singer, and her stream looks great. She's done some recent improvements to that as well. I've seen she's got standing up with the mic and all this stuff, and so we're going to talk to her about how she got to this place and where she came from. So really excited to have that. And other than that, all of Jeanette's links will be in the chat right now under the guest command. You can use that at any time to bring up her Twitch channel, which has all links to everything else for Jeanette. And all my links will be below in the description as well. If you're here on my channel, thank you for being here today. And without further ado, we're going to bring our good friend Miss Jeanette Music in. So bear with me while we have this transition, and let's do it. Jeanette, we are live with you.
Woohoo! Hi guys!
And such pretty blue lights you have.
Yes, thank you.
Such beautiful lights.
Thank you.
I like sparkly things, so it's all these lights behind me here too. I'm the same as you. I'm like, ooh, look at these.
Ooh, yes. I have a problem with sparkles. I tend to wear lots of sparkles on stream too.
Well, that fits your personality.
Right, exactly. Yep. So
Yeah.
I have tons and tons of sparkly dresses that I just find at Goodwill or something.
Totally.
And I'm like, oh, this is from the 1980s. We're just gonna cut this up and we're gonna wear.
Nice.
Absolutely.
Chop it, and it's a chop shop. You can make a whole new fashion. Very cool. Jeanette, can I ask you, what is music to you?
Music to me is one of the most important things in my life. Music is what has brought so much into my life and what has brought so many incredible people into my life. But music is my passion, and it's what makes my soul just explode with bliss and love and sparkles and it's everything. Music is everything.
Super
it's
fulfilling.
What makes me.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Fulfilling for people like us. Absolutely. And can I ask you why it is you play music? What drives you to play music mostly?
I just have always loved to write songs.
Okay.
I feel like there's always something on my mind or something going on that is just relatable to a lot of people. And I'm not the best at talking about feelings, but I can write them down and I can sing them. It's my way of communication.
Okay.
A lot of the time. Yeah.
So you find that music is your way to connect with others and to make that. Sure. It's sometimes hard. I've talked about this on another podcast. It's sometimes hard to break the ice with somebody, but if you're just playing a song and they connect with it, then all of a sudden that ice has been broken. So
yes,
I feel like that is a great thing. Now, recently, you and I have been secretly. I mean, this is going to be the first time I talk about it publicly, but we've been secretly working on a song sort of together with a few other streamers and stuff. So we got to learn about each other's songwriting styles. And so how long have you been writing songs for?
Oof. I started really young. I think I was probably 8.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, I started fairly young. It started as just kind of storytelling, then poems, and then kind of fell into songwriting. But I would say I really seriously started when I was probably 14. I started taking it really seriously and really started diving into Carole King, really learning from her, Bob Dylan, their songwriting. And that's when I was like, okay, I somehow have to do this for a living. I have no idea how I'm gonna do it, but I love this so much, you
Do
know.
you happen to remember maybe the first song you wrote or the first sort of composition you put together? Did you play it on an instrument? Was it just singing and lyrics, or how did that go, if you can remember?
Actually, I think my very first song I wrote for other people,
Oh,
which
wow.
is kind of funny because like that's what eventually what I want to do is write for other people.
Of
Like
course.
I would rather like be in the background.
Yeah.
Um, I actually wrote for like two of my classmates to perform.
Tremendous.
And it was some, I don't know, it's just, something silly for like the classroom. We had to come up with something creative to do. So I was like, well, I can write the song and if you guys want to perform it, because I didn't really have a lot of, I don't know, confidence at the time to like perform.
Okay.
Um, and so I kind of composed it and then they performed it,
That's
which is
so
kind of
cool.
funny.
And so
Yeah.
that was like when you were like maybe 8, 10, 12, like young, like childhood,
Yeah.
like elementary school.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
How did
Yeah.
that evolve for you when you moved sort of into your teenage years? Was there some sort of like change in what you listened to and what you performed? Did you become angsty and dye your hair black and be like, what did you do for that?
No, I was definitely, for lack of a better term, a nerd. Like on Friday nights, I eventually like saved up because I taught myself guitar, but I was like, I really want to make sure I'm doing this right. Like I was learning from like, watching,
YouTube or whatever.
videos
Yeah.
with dial-up internet.
Yeah.
So you're like, oh, I think I did, like, I think I got the G chord right.
I'm
So
the
I learned,
exact same.
yeah, yeah. So you do what it takes, right? So I did that and I learned a lot and I had a bunch of books, that my dad had got me from like Goodwill. He's like, I think this is helpful. Like, and so finally I like just saved a bunch of money and saved money up to do guitar lessons. So
Okay.
every Friday night was my guitar lesson.
Okay.
So when all the kids were going to like parties and stuff, I was at a guitar lesson and then after I wanted to go home and practice.
Amazing.
So you would never catch me out late or at a party because I was never cool enough to be invited.
Aw. Don't say that.
And
You were doing cooler
I,
shit.
I,
You were.
I wasn't though. I wasn't in the like,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
clique. But it's good because like, when everyone else is doing that, I was kind of I already knew what I wanted to do with my life, and so I was already like honed in.
Amazing.
And yeah, so no, I definitely. I would say in my teenage years, I just listened to a lot, like I said, Carole King, Bob Dylan, Beatles. I got into like a Beastie Boys phase where
Yeah.
I bought all the Beastie Boys like CDs and or tapes
Right.
because I had a car that only had tapes.
Yeah, I know that problem. Then you had to get like the little tape thing that would plug into your CD disc changer, and it would like go to like like auxiliary, and you could like, oh,
Yes.
what life was tough, eh? We lived we lived a tough life.
Yes, yes. So,
Yeah.
I just kind of listened to, I grew up a lot, like listening to a lot of Motown. So that kind of has followed me as well.
Yeah.
My dad's a huge Motown lover. So I grew up listening to a lot of Motown. Yeah, I've basically listened to a lot of
Yeah,
different things.
that's amazing. Well, that's good. It's the
Yeah.
whole reason I do this is to just try to learn how you got to here, because I know you here, and I know you and your
Yeah.
guitars and your stream and your bubbly and your sparkly, and it's all that fun. But what led you to here is the whole reason that I do this. So,
Yeah.
can you tell me? In your mind, you've already said like you don't really want to be in the forefront. You're not trying to be the pop star or be the rock star or anything like
Right.
that. But what would be the ideal idea of success for you as a musician? Obviously, writing hit songs for big Justin Bieber's, or what does that look like for you?
Yeah, I would just love to, I love streaming on Twitch. Twitch is kind of like the perfect, you know, I'm a very much introverted, so like Twitch is like perfect for me. So doing something with Twitch, continuously streaming because I love it and I love the community. But yeah, writing songs for people, whether it be like really big pop stars or up and coming. I would love to write songs for like movies and TV shows as well.
Yeah,
At some point get into like some sort of like voiceover work. I got into it a little bit.
yeah,
But yeah, I really like being behind the scenes. Like I like just like diving in, writing a song, tearing it apart, and just being like, okay, and now somebody else can take it and perform, and they can go on tour, and I can hang out with my dogs. At home,
right.
you know?
Yeah,
Um,
totally.
yeah.
That's very
Yeah.
cool. And so, I guess like, can I ask you about the movie thing? Would you write songs with lyrics and melody, or would you be like sort of like into scoring it and making like sort of sound sort of like a Hans Zimmer's to make the feel of a horror movie, or would it be both maybe?
Oh, you know what? I would love to do that, like what Hans Zimmer does, but I feel like I'd probably be more of like a lyric melody,
Right.
like
So like
kind
the
of
end
like
of the
some jingles.
yeah, or
Yeah.
like the end credits when it's that beautiful song and the couple
Yes.
reunites on the mountainside after Armageddon
Yes.
happened, like that whole moment.
Yes. I would love to do something like that. Yeah.
Do you
Yeah.
put out original songs at all, or you have not ever decided to record a song, or have you?
No, I've got like 5 songs out on Spotify.
Okay.
And would like to release a lot more this year. Just, productions that I'm doing at home with like a couple other friends joining in and doing some of the mixing and mastering. Because I do have so many songs.
Yeah.
But, like the recording process a lot, and I
It's
am
tough.
definitely a perfectionist.
Yeah.
So, like,
We've talked
do
about that.
lots of takes. Yeah. So that's kind of a problem for me. But I just like, it has to be perfect. So
That's
yeah,
good.
that is definitely the plan for this coming year is to release a lot of new original music.
That's great. And so, how for you does it go? Like, let's say you write a song for me, and I put that song on Spotify. Do you ask me to put your name in the credits for that song, or? And on top of that question, do you find it easier to write with somebody or on your own?
Yeah, so I'd say like the first part to your question, probably yeah, have my name somewhere in the credits.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That would be probably the most appropriate thing, I would think.
Mm-hmm.
And I like both. Because sometimes, you just have an idea and you're like, I just want to run with this by myself, or like, this is something that I'm going through and I just need to like get it out on paper and just write by
It's
myself.
personal, yeah.
But I've done, yeah, it's more personal. But also writing about super personal things with other people, like a lot of people can connect with those things as well.
I think
So I
also
like doing both.
I think that's also
Yeah.
how you know the idea is good. Is like, this is a personal
Yeah.
moment for you, and then the other songwriter is like, oh yeah, me too, and then you're like, that means another million me too's. Like, not in that fashion. I know that term has been, but you know what I mean.
yeah.
What I mean is, I
Absolutely.
agree with you, and I feel the same way when
Yeah.
you speak and
Yes.
sing. So, sorry, I don't want to
Absolutely.
confuse anybody with that term.
Yeah. Yeah, I would say yeah, co-writing, you can do one other person or 3 other people, and it's just really fun because, people bring ideas you never would have even thought of.
So I'm gonna just tell everybody that we have, like I said, quickly mentioned, we did co-write together, and like working with you is an absolute pleasure. I feel like what you exude in your stream and that positive manner and like going with the flow with everything. There's nothing that comes awkward across. It feels very. I felt like, and I have I have a hard time with co-writing, Jeanette, and you made me feel very comfortable to say
Oh, good.
to say what I thought and how I felt about each thing. And I was like,
Right.
you always got to be careful in those situations. You don't want to hurt, everything. And so,
Absolutely.
yeah, as a co-write, I always find that it's like I don't want to step on people's toes, and I don't want to be
Yeah.
overwhelming, but I also want to
Yeah.
participate enough that they don't think I'm sitting back. So, how do you find a
Yes.
balance in that?
Um, my dogs.
Woof
You'll
woof.
hear them in the background. Um, I would say, well, definitely when I was younger, I started co-writing when I was like 14, 15, and I definitely was a lot more quieter because
Okay.
I was writing with people like in their 40s, 50s, 60s. So these people had been writing for a long time.
Wow.
They had been to Nashville, they had done all that stuff, and so I was just kind of learning from them. And every now and again, I'd be like, "Oh, what about this?" I'm like, "Oh, yeah." Like, so I kind of learned, from them how to be like, how to listen to people and learn, and then how to be welcoming to people's ideas.
Right.
And so, yeah, I kind of slowly would integrate myself. And as I got older, and I would work with new people, and some of the people I worked with for like 10 years,
Wow.
on different things.
You
So
find a
they
groove.
kind of watched me like, yeah, they kind of like watched me grow up. But I would say with co-writing, it's a nice give and take. And I can't say I've really been in a bad
Right.
co-write before, which is good. which
That's
is
on you though.
Yeah,
That's
right,
because
yeah,
you're easy to
right,
work with. I
yeah.
feel like that's because like, don't short yourself on that. You've never been in a bad co-write because you're so like flexible and easy to work with. Now, I want to ask you something that's going to make you feel a little uncomfortable. But say
Okay.
someone approaches you with an idea that you just don't like. How would you sort of counter that or rebut that or sort of try to squash that idea in a nice way?
Yeah, so I mean, that's definitely come up before, whether it's an idea or like a title or a line or something. And usually I'm just kind of like, oh, well, you know, I like that. Like, I love that, I love your input. I love that. What if we tried it? Or what if we like took this word or added something like this?
Right.
That way you're saying, like, I hear what you're saying and I think that's awesome.
Hmm.
But what if we changed it a little bit or
Right.
added something? And usually people, nobody likes to be told like, no, your idea is awful, because no
Right.
idea is awful.
Of course
It's
not.
just a matter of like, they're kind of thinking on the fly, you're thinking on the fly, and then you're like,
Right.
oh, that's awesome, but what if we did this?
Right.
And you've been in those situations where
Yes.
everyone's just like super excited, or like you're wrapping up a song, you're like, what about that?
Yeah.
So it's kind of like that, the positive sandwich, I guess, which
Exactly.
I try to use all the time.
I was gonna mention that, yeah. And you know
Yeah,
what? There
yeah.
is always something to be taken. Like even when you and I work
Oh
together,
yeah.
for instance, like if I was not so set on the lyric, I'd be like, the melody is there. Like I like what you're singing, and then I would try to sing it wrong, and then I'd be like, can you sing that again? Because I liked what you
Yeah.
did. And so I really
Yeah.
try to make sure that there's always, like you said, nothing is ever terrible. We can always take a little piece of something for each little line and
Yes.
word and movement. So
Right.
very cool that
Yeah.
you, and like I think you're a pro at that. I think I can't say this enough, but it's hard to do this for me. And you, like, again, you made me feel super comfortable to like expose my feelings and journal and like insides to you and
Yeah.
stuff. So it was really great. Yeah.
Oh, good. Yay.
Jeanette, today I'm going to ask you to perform a few songs. Now, are you going to perform anything that is new or available on the streaming sites? You said you have 5 songs out there. Are we doing any of the ones that are available on the streaming sites today or no? And that's up to you.
Yes.
We are.
Yep. So one of them is just on YouTube.
Okay.
It was actually on the front page of Twitch, which was really cool.
Okay.
And so that one's just on YouTube. And then the other one I'm going to do on the keyboard, but it's a full band version on Spotify.
Awesome.
So
So which one of these did you sort of write first? And like, do you write with the band too, or did that sort of just go with the production of it afterwards?
Yeah, so the first song that I wrote first is Superwoman. That's the one I'm going to do on the keyboard. And I wrote that like 4 years ago now.
Okay.
And just from like a place of like feeling like I was doing a lot for other people, but wasn't really doing anything for myself. And realized I needed to like refocus and realize like I also have dreams and goals.
Yes.
And I can't just do what, the social norm is to do, because
Of
that's
course.
just not
What
me.
doesn't fit you?
Um,
Yeah.
Yeah. So I wrote it on just acoustic guitar, and then like the band and production came in after. Yeah, and then the other one I wrote as just a nice one for my husband,
Aw.
because we've been together for 10 years this past August. 10 years, yeah.
Beautiful.
So I wrote this one for him actually last year, and that was the one that is on YouTube. And
Okay.
that was on the front page. Which is
Okay,
cool.
cool. Very awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I would love to give you the full screen right now. I'm just going to click you over
Okay.
to performance. And then once you get over there, I'm going to introduce you one more time and give you the full. I'm going to mute myself and let you perform. Okay, so you get yourself ready over there and we're going to switch it over.
Sounds good.
All right, Jeanette's just getting her guitar, some water. She's got her reverbs on. I am going to mute myself, and I'm just going to control Jeanette's volume a little bit while she performs, and you guys enjoy this show, and we'll be back to interviewing, excuse me, after Jeanette's lovely performance here. Take it away, Jeanette. Feel free to tell a little bit of a story about this, and it's all yours.
Thank you, Kev. Yeah, so for anyone who's new, maybe hasn't been to my stream before, like we're saying, I wrote this song about 4 years ago, and it was definitely during a difficult time, and I realized that I had kind of forgotten about my love and passion for music, doing all the other things that happen in life, and realized I needed to figure out how I was going to do what I'm now doing today. Everything is going wrong, and you're Don't forget you're only
That was tremendous. Beautiful, Jeanette.
Yeah.
The Deliberate one of our moderators on Twitch just shared the link to the YouTube for that song. So everybody who's in chat currently right now, you can check that song out on YouTube with that link. If you're not currently watching this on Twitch and you're watching this on YouTube later, you click on the link to Jeanette's Twitch channel and her YouTube link is there. So it's just 2 clicks to get to that song if you're watching this on YouTube. All right, everyone? That was wonderful, Jeanette. And I'm glad that you have realized yourself as a superwoman. Yeah, good for you. Honestly, good for you. Jeanette, can I ask you, I mean, of course we all know that Twitch is community supported and there's money earned there, but did you ever make any money from songwriting or performing or music at all in the past? Maybe lessons or anything?
Yeah, so I started teaching lessons. I think I was 16 or 17. I started teaching vocal lessons.
Okay.
Just out of my house at the time. And it was mostly younger kids, which was fun. It was like I was a camp counselor for a while.
Cool.
And yeah, so crazy. And the kids, I'm really small. I know it's hard to tell, but I'm 5 feet. And so like they always stuck me with the 12-year-olds who are 5 feet and taller. And so all the kids, we all got along really well. And the parents like, oh yeah, they, somehow would find out that I did music. And they're like, oh, would you mind like teaching?
Nice.
So I started teaching at a fairly young age. Yeah, so that was kind of like the first thing. I was like, oh wow, like I can make $10
yeah.
like, teaching a lesson.
Your first money, the first money that comes in from music is so exciting. You're like, wait a minute. You're like, wait a minute. I played my guitar and you gave me money?
Yeah. Or like busking on the street.
True.
I'd busk on the street or like I remember because I would go to a lot of open mics.
Mm-hmm.
But I was really young. Like my dad would like have to drive me and then stay there because I was like 14. I remember when I got the actual what do they call it? Because there was like the open mic, the feature performer.
Oh right,
and
yeah, where they give you like the headline spot, yeah.
Yeah, and you actually got like paid for it. And I remember, I think the first one I got, I was probably like 15. I was like, oh my god, this is amazing! Like, I made like $5.
Yeah.
Like and it was just so it's such a like, whew, oh my
mind
gosh,
blower.
like,
Yeah, it's a rush. You're like, I can't believe. Yeah, I can't believe I figured out how to make money doing my favorite thing ever. That's
right,
crazy.
exactly.
Yeah. It's such a good thing. So you make a little bit of money doing music. Do you have another job that you work?
So I was a respiratory therapist.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I did that for like 5 years, and
Okay.
I quit that in actually just a year ago exactly.
Okay. Good for
to
you.
do music full time.
Excellent.
And yeah, and now I'm actually in school again for computer science. So I'm learning like programming and stuff.
Very
which
cool.
I'm really excited about.
You'll be writing
Yeah.
bots soon. Can you write me a bot?
Yes, actually, I think Steve is here. His name is The Final Bean, and
He just followed.
he
Thank
had
you.
created. Yeah, he's a super cool guy. He created a couple bots in my channel.
Okay.
And I was like, oh my god, thank you so much. And then now that I'm going to school for it, I'm like, oh my god, like this is so much work. Like, thank you so much.
Yeah.
So I've learned a and he is a great mentor as well. And yeah,
Oh,
I'm very excited. I'm just definitely a person that I just love to learn.
yeah, thanks, Final Bean, for showing the love. And everyone out there on Twitch who supports streamers. I know that the tech can be unbelievably troublesome sometimes. It can be like people don't see the level of preparation that goes in before you start the stream and how much
Yes.
care it takes, and the camera's going off and then the lights are wrong
Yeah.
and then, something happened to the overlay and then the alerts are making noise and you're like, what is going on? This worked just fine yesterday.
Yeah. OBS doesn't update and nothing works. And you're
Right.
like, what's
Or it does automatically update and then everything, all your like plugins don't work. You're like, oh, great. Now I have to,
God.
like, so my question is like, I guess you're already on the track, but I often ask people how they find a balance between making art and making money because they're very difficult to do at the same time. It's hard to make art and make money at the same time. So what is your sort of ideal goal or idea of how you might pull that off? Is it just like royalty checks and then some Twitch and, maybe play a gig or two, or is it, what is the idea
Yeah.
for you?
I mean, I would love to, like I said, I would love to songwrite, and like that is like my ultimate
Dream. Yeah.
is to get some sort of yeah, like royalty checks or
Publishing
something
deal,
like that.
publishing deal with some company, and then they're like, okay, 9 to 5, you're going to be in with these 4 writers today, and like that every
Yeah.
day you're doing that. That's the
Yeah.
dream. Yeah,
Like that would be amazing for me. And then of course streaming, because like streaming is just my happy place, you know. So definitely doing something like that, and then having something like, computer programming or something else I can always have and do.
right.
If for some reason there's a global pandemic or whatever, internet shut down for a long time, like just planning for the
Of course.
unknown, because
Yeah.
I know the last couple of years, it's just
Yeah,
like
of course.
no one planned for this. And so I always like to have some sort of backup plan for the just in case,
Of course. Of course. And it's good to
Yeah.
do that. That's a smart businesswoman. That's a smart entrepreneur. You're going to try to start a business. You have to have some place to land if all doesn't go well. And yeah, bet on yourself. You got to bet on yourself every time. But sometimes you're going to miss, so you can't,
Yeah.
you have to fail to succeed. So maybe that's 1 or 2 or 3
Absolutely.
times. And so, yeah, I think it's important to do that. And I'm really glad that you're not like, I'm going to be a rock star and throwing everything out the window. You can't do that out there, everyone listening. Like,
Oh my gosh, no.
keep the train on the tracks, right?
Yes, exactly. Yep.
Right on. So I think I know this one, but do you prefer maybe being, well, I guess we're going to have to add one in this, but I often ask, do you prefer being a recording artist or performing artist? But then there's also the songwriter side, which we know is your number one. So if you had to pick between performing or recording a song, what do you think it would be?
Oof.
And you're like, neither.
Yeah. Oh, probably recording. Um, yeah, just like I guess I got kind of, and I'm sure you've dealt with this, like when you do live gigs, you're staying out super late. People tend to get drunk.
It's a
People
nightmare.
get crazy and
Yeah.
they get loud, and then like you're getting home at like 3 a.m.
Yeah.
And it's just like
It's a nightmare.
that kind of like it's a nightmare, yeah. And it's fun, like when you're playing music and like especially if you're in a band or something, like you're all just jamming, it's a great time. But like I did that for a while and like it just killed me. I was
Every
like, it's
weekend?
so much fun. Yeah, but then it was like I can't do this for
Ever.
longer.
Yeah. And then like there's all this, I don't drink at gigs because I'm always driving to the gig, but there's
Yes.
always that like, hey, do a shot with me. Hey, I bought you a
Yes,
beer. And
yeah.
it's like, I appreciate all that. But like if I drank every beer that someone bought for me at a gig, I would be a raging alcoholic. There would
It's
just be
so
like,
true.
I would just be
So
drinking
good.
every
I
night.
can't- Oh, right, exactly. And like I am a super lightweight.
Mm-hmm.
And like just super like I'm like maybe a glass of wine like after
And
the
we're
gig or whatever.
good. Yeah.
Yeah, but like during like I can't sing and drink, I can't play guitar and like it's just I can't do it. I've never even tried and I don't want to,
Right.
kind of thing. I'm just like nope, like I can have like maybe a drink after. But yeah, it's just a weird. I mean, it's fun, but it's just as I like have gotten older, I'm like I definitely can't live that life.
All right. Jeanette, do you think with the songwriting goal and career in mind, do you think that like going to a city like Nashville or going to a pop city like, let's say even LA to do some writing, maybe you go there every 3 months and stay there for 3 weeks and then do writes with a bunch of people. Do you think that's what you would do? Or do you think the whole world has changed and it's like, no, we'll just meet on, Zoom, Skype, whatever that is, and do it over that. What do you think that looks like in the future after this global pandemic, right? Like things changed.
Yeah, yeah, things have changed so much. And I feel like I mean, maybe it might be necessary every now and again, if you're like really trying to get a project done. But yeah, I feel like doing the Zoom or Skype is what people have kind of moved to.
Yeah.
Because nobody wants to be like in a tight room together anymore.
Yeah.
It's just kind of like, okay,
Yeah.
So yeah, I feel like like moving to those cities, I kind of feel like moving to those cities, you kind of get lost in the noise.
Of course, yeah.
Whereas if you're kind of like like I'm in Maine, like
Yeah.
nobody lives here,
You do.
I do.
Don't say that. You do.
But like, oh yeah, that girl from Maine, like it. Oh yeah, it kind of sticks out a little bit more than if you just like live in those big cities and you're trying,
Right.
people are like, oh yeah, well, you're amongst so many other people,
Right. There's no that girl from LA, right? There's no that girl from.
yeah, that's not a thing. Yeah, it's just not a thing. So a lot of songwriters that I've worked with recently, some do live in Nashville and LA, and others are just reside in the outskirts, and are still very successful. And yeah, sometimes you just have to travel every now and again to those cities, but it's very rare.
If you got a publishing deal with, let's say, whatever record label or something, and they were like, "Hey, we need you to move here," would you do it, or would you say, "No, I think we could pull this off this way"? How do you feel about that?
Oh, I guess it would depend, like where it was,
Or what the deal was? Like, how much are you paying me to relocate my life?
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I definitely am not a city girl by any stretch of the imagination. Can't do the city. Nice to visit. Really love visiting like New York and Nashville and LA. Nice to visit, but I could not live in a city. I
Right.
would just feel suffocated.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know. It would depend on where. If it was like, oh, the outskirts of Nashville, like my husband and I would probably be like, oh, that's pretty cool. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll probably do that.
True.
But outskirts of LA,
No, no dice. No, don't move to LA. Anyone here in like Los Angeles or in California, I love you guys, but as soon as the Colorado River dries up, you're in big trouble. So just start moving away from there now. That's a desert.
it's a beautiful state. It's beautiful.
It's tremendous. The weather is amazing,
Yeah.
but the only reason humans can live there is because we redirected the Colorado River so we could have drinking water there. When that does dry up, you're gonna want to live in Toronto where there's Great Lakes, or in Maine where there's Great Lakes you can stick a straw in and take a drink.
This is true.
So yeah, stay away from the outskirts of LA, I think.
Yeah. Yeah.
Totally. That's very cool. So do you remember the first concert that you maybe attended? And was that with your parents? Or maybe what's the first concert you attended without your parents?
Oh, without my parents. Goodness. Actually, I think it was with my brother. I talked my middle brother into driving me and my friend to an Avril Lavigne concert.
Nice. Canadian
And I was
hardcore.
like, yeah, I was probably like 12, and I was like, Eric, Avril Lavigne and like Boys Like Girls are gonna be in New Hampshire. Like, will you take us? He's like, fine. And so he took my friend and I, because he's a great brother.
That's a good brother, yes.
Yeah, but we definitely, like, growing up, like my dad's he's a painter and a sculptor, like he's an artist.
Okay.
And my mom was a dancer, so we had they always had artist friends. So we would always go, like Portland is like our city in Maine.
Okay.
Portland, Maine. And that's where like all the concerts happen, or they would just have like art festivals all the time.
Yep.
So there was always like
Independent, bluegrass, whatever stuff going on that you were kind of immersed in it. Yeah, and having artists as parents, I think, is so helpful because they understand. And like now you see, I think when you're 8 years old, you saw that, I could be an artist. I could write songs, and I'd like to do that because my parents do art and creative work. So that's very cool that. Yeah, it's very cool that they've sort of nurtured that for you, and it gives you the sense of belief, It's very hard to believe that you can do something if you don't see someone else do it, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, my dad was always like, hey, you got to believe in yourself, and, like, well, we believe that you can do it, but if you don't believe, like, nobody else is going to believe in your purpose, because he could see it from, like, I started singing at, like, 2, just, like, singing stuff, or I love Janis Joplin. That was, like, the first artists that I
Okay.
remember like singing along to was like Janis Joplin. My dad like loved Hendrix, and so like he could tell from a young age that it was something that because we really tried like my middle brother is awesome at painting, and
Okay.
he's a great painter. He can draw, and my dad. For those of the people in the channel, they know I can't draw, and my dad really tried. He really tried to like teach me, and I was like, meh. And so it was like, okay, well, I'm not good at this, but I really love music, you know.
Okay.
So that was kind of my like creative outlet.
Right.
Yeah.
Very cool. I love that. Actually, to be honest, it's funny just to let you know a little bit about me. I actually was quite good at art when I was younger. I had some good fine hand movements. I used to always take like the hockey cards that I would collect and I would try to redraw them. So I'd stand them on a little stand and I was just not tracing, but like copying. So I kind of got good at it. And then I think maybe possibly that might obviously artistic and creative, but like the finger dexterity that is needed for playing guitar as well. So
Yes.
maybe your penmanship and doing that early maybe sort of contributed to the fact that like you could sort of pick up a guitar fast enough to not be discouraged. You know how hard it is to.
Very good point.
Yeah.
I never
Whereas
even thought of that. That's a really good point.
there's a lot of people who like they pick up the guitar and they can't get their fingers to do it fast enough. So
Yeah.
then they put the guitar down. They're like, oh, I'm never going to do this. But if I think that because we had the dexterity, we were probably able to sort of get past that hump. And that's why we're here today, maybe. Who knows? Who knows?
That is a really, I've never thought of that because
Just-
I've always thought of guitar as like fairly like easy to pick up, and everyone else is like, no, like piano's way easier, and I'm like, you know, so
Yeah.
maybe that's why.
Yeah, and also like well, what's funny, Jeanette, is I am 15 inches taller than you. I'm
Yo,
a foot and I'm 6'3" and you're 5'0". That's so funny. So my hands are enormous. And they go right around the guitar. So I actually had a little bit of a head start on everybody. I got I had the luckiness to be able to reach around that
you were
guitar.
that kid.
I was that kid, and I still wasn't
You were
very
that
good.
kid.
I had all
I
the
had friends. I had friends just like you.
yeah.
Who like tall, you know, I had a couple like guy friends that were just tall and they had the huge hands and they're like, oh yeah, I can do bar chords.
Just
I'm
grab
like,
this, yeah, bar chords, yeah.
yeah, I'm like, what? Like, no, I can't do that. Like
Yeah.
now I can,
Yeah.
but it took a while.
Hell
It
yeah.
hurt.
Yeah, hell yeah. It's a lot of people. And like, you know what, Jeanette, I'll say this too. And like, I'm not discounting anybody, but like the amount of people who become like, let's say a DJ now, like you can learn to DJ over the weekend. Your fingers don't hurt. Like it takes years to be able to pick up a guitar and go and walk onto a stage in front of people and like perform it
Yes.
like fluently. And so a lot of people don't have like that drive to get through all of that. So I always commend every musician you see. Like learning an instrument is very difficult. It takes a lot of time, right? It does.
Lots of finger bleeding and yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Cramping, sore hands.
Cramping,
And like
hands.
after years later, like now I'm in the mood where like I have to like counter it. I have to be doing back stretching and stuff because my hands are curving like an old man. They're gonna be all crooked. And take my strong hand. Like what's that movie?
It's so true though. Like I literally will find myself. I'm like, why am I doing this?
What is?
Stop.
What is your? Do you remember the most recent concert you've been to? Maybe it was just before COVID or something like that. So Avril Lavigne is like sort of one of your early ones. What's sort of one that you've been to in the last maybe 5 years or so?
Oof. What was the last one? I go to a lot of like local concerts.
Nice. Well, that could be that.
Trying to think. I think maybe the last one was like Thomas Rhett.
Oh, okay.
And that was like a family kind of concert. Like I appreciate country music. I'm not much of a country music listener.
Yep.
But like the whole like all my husband's family was like, oh my god, like he's coming to Maine or whatever. So a bunch of us went, and he was actually really good. He was really good. Put on an awesome show. And his kind of stuff is not like country.
No,
it's
it's
like
pop country. Yeah. Super
Yeah. So
pop.
I was like, oh, I can do like the real honky tonk. I'm like, I just
Yeah, totally.
do
Everyone has their flavor, man. I don't like,
Yeah.
I like dill pickles, but you could keep your olives,
yeah.
If we're going for the charcuterie board, I'll take the dill and the cheese, and you can keep the olives. It doesn't matter. If you like the olives, that's good. It all gets eaten. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So, that's great. I was just wondering, maybe we could get you to perform another song while the dog barks in this room too.
I know you hear. I have 3 Yorkies.
Okay.
And like they're just like.
We have
"Why are
a
you so screaming?"
Australian Shepherd who, if somebody walks by in the hall, they always go just to let us know that someone's at the door. Someone's at the door.
I've got my oldest terrier. We always joke he's some sort of like Russian spy because he's like ah! And then he'll just like he's in a playpen. Like the 3 of them hang out. We'll kind of just hang out in a playpen, and he'll just like scale the playpen and just jump right over.
Oh my
out,
goodness!
And he's little. You know, he's like 8 pounds. We're like Elton. And he's like
a squirrel, like a ninja.
He is. Yeah, he is. Oh, he's
Squirrel
definitely
ninja.
a ninja. Squirrel ninja. Yeah.
Okay, well, Jeanette, I would love to hear a little bit more about this next song. And while you get your stuff together, I'm just going to give it over to full screen for you. And
Sounds good.
I'm going to mute myself and allow you to take it away and introduce this song and let us know a little bit how you wrote it, and then go ahead and give it to us.
Yay. Okay. Let me just make sure this is tuned. If I play this one in a second. Hi, Leia. How are you? It's so great to see everyone. Thank you so much to Kev's people for being here and my people for being here. Freaking love the music community, guys. You guys are awesome. Thank you all so much for being here. This is an original tune, and it's called Better. It's called Better. And yeah, I wrote this one actually last summer for my husband and I's 9 years of being together, 2 years married. And yeah, it just kind of came to me one day. The little hook just kind of came. And yeah, this is better. You are better than my morning coffee, the perfect sunrise over the city. And after all these years, I still adore the way that you look at me. And I want you to know I've always dreamed of a love like this. But you are better than my dreams. And when I'm feeling down, you are the one to lift me up. The coldest winter
Miss Jeanette Music with another banger. Your husband gets a new song every year. That's a lucky duck. He's like, it's the 11th anniversary. How are you going to top it this year, Jeanette? We're going to need
Yeah,
some.
how was it? Yeah, could write another song. I'm running out of ideas.
It's got to
What
be.
you want me to do?
It's got to be a number one this year, Jeanette, or I'll be
Yes,
unimpressed.
exactly. Exactly.
You can't get that good present first, right? You gotta like scale your way up. You drop that good present, you're like, now what? Do I have to give you a Tesla
I
next?
know, which I did last year, and I'm like, damn it.
You're like, we're stepping the bar down.
Yeah, right. You're just getting like a normal gift,
Yeah.
okay?
This year you're getting an air fryer this year.
That is funny. We did just get one.
Yeah, we did too, and it's a game changer for real. Everyone out there, like the air fryer will change your life for real.
Especially if you can't cook, because I definitely can't. Like
Likewise,
an oven.
likewise. That's why.
Yeah.
It's like it's easy, set it, forget it. It's like a microwave oven. It's like the microwave of ovens.
Yes, but you can cook like a pizza.
And it doesn't taste like slop, you know? And
Right.
microwaves are a little weird, like nuclear bombs in our house. I don't know.
Yeah. It's fine. It's normal.
I used to sit with my head resting on the door of the microwave, just watching my whatever spaghettios spin around. Like that's probably why my brain is half fried. just
I tell you, oh my god.
just having an MRI every day for lunch.
Oh my
Lord.
god, that's awesome.
Jeanette, I know that you said that you don't really want to be a big touring musician, so I'm going to change my last couple questions. If you could
Sure.
if instead of if you could go on tour with anybody, my question is if you can get in a writer's room with any two artists dead or alive, who would those two artists be?
Oh, definitely Carole King. Definitely Carole King.
Okay.
Love her. That I think I would drop dead if I entered a room with her.
Yeah.
To be quite honest.
You've mentioned her a couple times now.
Yeah, I love her. Love her writing. Well, she was just behind so much. Like so
Right.
much of like the Motown hits.
Right.
Was this one woman just like
Writing bangers.
I'm like, yeah, she could write for anybody. It was just like that is what I would love to be.
Right.
But yeah, I think I would die. And I would love a Paul McCartney.
Okay.
I
Cool.
would love
That's
to.
a heck of a
I mean,
room.
I would also drop dead.
Okay, yeah, no, me too. Me too. My next question is you and Carol and Paul are in a room and someone has stuck you there and it's got to be a modern day artist. Who are you guys writing a song for at this moment?
Ooh. Modern day artists. You know what's sad is I don't know a lot of them anymore.
Me neither, but
Like,
like
a lot of the-
you can make up it could be Katy Perry for all, like
Oh, yeah, actually,
maybe
that,
it is.
that would actually be a good one. Yeah,
Yeah.
like Katy Perry, or even like Harry Styles.
Right.
Like he's cranking out some nice tunes.
Yeah,
lately.
hell yeah.
I'm pretty impressed with his tunes.
Yeah, all those guys
that
are
would be pretty cool.
Niall Horan and Harry Styles are both really banging it up pretty hard after they got out of their boy band.
Yeah, they're like their styles are totally like I like that. They've
Yeah.
definitely like gotten more into who they are. I think.
What do you think the
So
song
I
will
would
be
love
about?
for-
What do you think the song will be about? This is all Fantasyland. We're just having fun.
Yeah. Fantasyland, writing a song for Harry Styles. I feel like he's very much into like what's happening in the world, so
Yeah.
I feel like it'd be something along those lines.
He's very fashion forward. He's always on top of the first trends and stuff. So
Yeah,
most
yeah.
definitely, you probably have to be a trendy tune, I would say.
Trendy tune.
Whatever the
Trendy
hot
tune,
new
yeah.
thing is, right?
Right, the topic.
How do you
yeah.
talk Paul?
Yep.
How do you talk Paul McCartney into that? You're like, yo, dude, listen, the new thing is Twitch. You got to understand what it is if we're gonna write a song about it.
You have to understand, Paul. Like this is very, very important. I guess. I mean, I taught my dad how to use Twitch, and he's like 75.
There you
and
go.
He's pretty like. I mean, he can't stream.
No, but he holds
like,
it down.
He can log on.
For
yeah,
real.
and he can like chat.
Yeah,
So I mean, I felt pretty good.
amazing. So we'll get Paul on board for sure.
Yeah, that'll be fun.
So I think we've kind of already come to this conclusion. Your final goal in life and in music is sort of just be a hit songwriter and be writing for some people, and whether that's big names or independent names or whatever, and getting in rooms and connecting. What makes you happy, Jeanette? And that can be in or out of music.
Oh goodness, I mean, music for sure.
Yeah.
Streaming makes me happy. writing a song makes me happy. I also, like I said, I have 3 dogs, walking them, spending time with my husband.
Yeah.
I'm also an avid runner. I
Okay.
like run every day, and
Oh, wow.
I like to do long runs. So I do 8 miles, 9 miles, whatever.
Wow.
Yeah, it's
Okay,
like
that
that
leads
other
me.
thing,
That leads me to
you
another
know.
question. Do you ever write while you're running?
Oh God, that's where like half my
Okay,
that's where half my ideas
that makes
come.
sense.
The unfortunate, yeah, right. The unfortunate thing is that I'm like, I'm like running and I'm like, damn it, and I was like taking my phone, I'm like, like trying to keep my mile up, and I'm like,
Yeah, your
okay,
speed up, and like you're also out of breath, so you're like trying to sing it into your phone. You're like out of
yeah, this
breath the whole time.
I'll understand this later, and I'm
Yeah,
like, what was it
yeah,
doing? So yeah, I feel like the idea, like songwriting ideas, always come at like the least. When like I'm in the shower and I'm like, awesome,
yeah.
like right on the shower, and I was just like, what? Or like doing the dishes. It's like when
My
you're
hands
doing
are
things where your
soaking
mind
wet
is
right now.
like,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm like, why? I'm either sweating to death or I'm like showering, and have nothing to write with. Like that's when my ideas always come. It's probably because like your brain is like slightly distracted and it can kind of
Right.
like
You're
hone
not
in.
actually worried about the song, and so it'll just kind of come to you, or yeah, opens up a new
Yeah,
pathway. Right.
yeah, yeah. So I feel like those are when, yeah. So when I run, that's kind of one of the reasons why I like it so much because I do it by myself. And I like to run by myself, and then I can just like think about whatever,
Yeah.
like goals or like ideas, or it's just kind of like I get into some sort of like meditative
Of
state.
course, it's
Um,
cathartic.
Yeah, yeah, yep, exactly.
Very
Yeah.
cool. Jeanette, it has been an absolute pleasure to learn a lot more about you, and your energy is infectious, and writing a song with you is one of the most comfortable things to do when songwriting with others is not always the most comfortable thing. So I just want to give you all of the love and praise for that, and for the way you keep your stream and your community and your sparkliness. And please, please continue to do that. Other than that, I think that if you just stick with what makes you happy and then keep working towards your goals, you're gonna get there.
Yeah.
I think the for you, a lot of what will resonate is the karmic thing, where like again, your energy is so positive and you're so great to others that I think it's going to come back to you in good time. So just keep firing away, stay on that treadmill, running,
Yeah.
and you will get to a destination. Yeah, you'll get to a destination that you feel comfortable in, and very, very happy with. It won't be long. One more thing I'll say is that we're going to finish up a tune together, and when we do, I would love to share it with our communities. So we'll stay in touch about our raid train with our communities. Y'all can check out our song is called "Here's to You," and it's a nod to the communities that have supported us over the time. So we haven't said much about this, but stay tuned for a custom song written for our communities. There were five Twitch streamers who were in on this. Jeanette and I had worked on a lot of this together, and it was a great way to connect with her and really open up this relationship. So thank you, Jeanette, for that. And I wish you all the best. And next time, get a couple dogs on screen with you. We can.
Oh yeah.
They're welcome on my podcast. We are very furry friendly here. And until next time, I'm gonna let you have your evening. You can go see your husband and your doggies and enjoy yourself. And thank you for the radio earlier today. And everyone who's in the chat right now, the guest command is there. Please follow Jeanette. All of her links are on her Twitch channel. And I guess that's about it, Jeanette. I'll leave
Thank
you.
you so much, Kev.
No, thank you. It's been a blessing, and we'll stay in touch about our song. Okay, stay in
Yes,
touch.
for sure.
We're gonna have to take the bull by the horns and make that happen. All right.
Yeah.
You're the best.
Do it.
It's been a pleasure to
Thank
get
you.
to know you, and I'll talk to you soon, okay?
Sounds good. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Ooh, and another one bites the dust, everyone. That was fun. Jeanette is so infectiously fun. She's just like, you gotta love her. She's just too... Let me get this in focus, maybe. I think I've been out of focus the whole show. Yeehaw! Let's get the background beat on. Kicking the beats. Thank you guys for hanging out. That was absolutely tremendous. If there's anyone in chat here who wants to recommend a raid for us, or if the Deliberate One or Rhonda or anyone else who's lurking in here under our modifiers who would like moderators, excuse me, would like to raid someone, that would be awesome. You guys can go ahead and figure that out while I quickly close this show out. Once again, Jeanette Music, all the links are below. Follow her on Twitch, follow her on YouTube. Go check out the new song that she put there. Stay on her case. She's going to put out a lot of more original music. It's going to be great. All of my links are below too. If you want to support the channel, I support other musicians, and this channel is all about interviewing other musicians, allowing them to perform here, and we're going to start reviewing independent CDs soon. CDs, yes, I bought a CD player, and we are going to be doing CD streams, excuse me. What's up, Blue? Thank you for coming through. Everyone in Jeanette's crew, thank you for coming through. If you would like to go follow me on the YouTubes, it's Command YouTube. That would be super duper helpful to help this ship keep rolling. The more YouTube subscribers I have, the easier it is for me to keep this thing, funded and keep the lights on, keep the internet on, and all the rest of it. So thank you so much, Miss Jeanette. Thank you for coming into chat. I'm going to leave it at that. If you're watching this or listening on the podcast, please give us a rating and a review. If you give us a review on the podcast, it really, really helps us there as well. So, but I guess until next time, buy some merch, click on the Patreon, I don't know, click on the Twitch, follow me everywhere you can. And until next time, keep it between the mustard and the mayonnaise.